Hello and welcome back to Success on Your Terms. I am very excited to be welcoming on today's guest, which is none other than the amazing Charlie Day. I have been one of Charlie's clients and she absolutely lives and breathes the phrase, sales is easy when you know how. It is true, and we all need more sales in our business. I also love the fact that we talk through coaching, we talk about messaging, and how I hear Charlie's voice in my head when I'm wanting to make more sales. This is a brilliant episode, and I invite you to not only take some notes, but make sure you go away and take action on everything that you learn in today's episode. Enjoy. Charlie, welcome to the podcast. I'm very excited to have you on. I think maybe you were a few years back, and it was very quick and everything. We talked about sales. I want to get a little bit more into what we call around this podcast with success in this one as well, because I've seen your journey of success. You've been a key role model in my journey, which is really important. You're key when it comes to sales. I hear Charlie in the back of my head. So introduce yourself, what you do, and let's kick off. But I always ask at the end, what does success mean to you?
Hi, I'm excited to be here. What an intro. I've never seen myself as a role model. So there we go. Yeah, so I run Charlie Day Sales. I've always been an entrepreneur. We've got a running joke in my family. I've never had a real job. And it's true. I haven't ever had a real job, whatever that might be. I've built four businesses from the ground up, and I now run a sales agency where we do done for you sales. Um, and I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I eat, breathe, sleep, sales. It's what I'm about. It lights me up. Business is part of who I am, and I'm okay with that. And so, when I started out, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't have this like grand plan that I would run a sales agency one day when I was 21 and I started my own business. But I think I always did have a vision of what I wanted to be in that version of myself. So I've always pushed for the next level of success and the next level of success. And one thing that is really important to me, and I remember my mum saying this when I was really, really young, like in primary school, she was like, you've got to celebrate your successes along the way, no matter how small they are.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that's something that I've done really well. So I always strive for more success. I want more success. I know that there's more success out there for me. But in the same breath, I'm very, very grateful for everything that I've got. I know that I live a hugely privileged life and I feel successful and I've celebrated every single success along the way. And I think that that's where the negative from the success can come. If you don't feel successful, if you're not like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've worked really hard for this. This feels good. If you take it for granted, then I think that that's where I've seen some people get quite toxic with the success thing of like, I want more, I want more, I want more, nothing's good enough. Da, da, da. And that's not how I am. Yes, I want more. I know there's more available out there for me, but also I'm so grateful for where I am right now and everything, all the success that I've had along the way as well.
Have there been any examples where it's challenged you to almost think that all that was too much and I need to come back to again like this point of enough is enough? Because it's an interesting conversation. I certainly felt that way leaving the corporate world. Was I got to a point where I didn't feel successful, but that, as you were saying, but everybody else deemed me to be, a nice car, bag, lifestyle piece and all that. And I was like, I can't hold down a relationship. So,
Yeah.
and that was my point of, if I can't hold down a relationship, then, or if I'm ill off the back of even fitness side where it's like it's just too intense, then that is too much. What are your, because you also seem very grounded in, like you just say, knowing that, and that is an important differentiation that you have. That's very fortunate. What is it specifically that allows you to see like, this is my moment when I need to celebrate it?
Yeah, I think there have been times for sure where I've been like pushed to the limits of like, what I'm capable of. And particularly a couple of years ago, my son went through an autism diagnosis, and I found that really tough as a parent. I've always found being a parent quite tough, if I'm quite honest. I think I'm a much more natural business owner than I am parent. Um, but yeah, certainly going through that journey and having to support him, and we had to change his school settings. We've had to change his school settings a couple of times actually. And in that sort of period of my life, I got overwhelmed at work much more than I had done in other periods of my life. So I did feel like I needed to pull back from certain things and I couldn't commit. And I'm a recovering people pleaser. So I have been through periods of my life where I've overcommitted myself and had to deliver on that. And it's sometimes pushed me to breaking point when you're like going here and going there. And I remember one time I was getting on a plane to America and I was nearly in tears and I just was like, hang on a second. You're about to board a business class flight to America and you're having like a nervous breakdown about how this is too much. Like, let's just get a reality check on this. You are in a very fortunate position to be able to do this. You're going to do something, I think I was doing like a keynote speaker. You're going to do something that you absolutely love, that you used to dream. You used to dream that this was your life, but now it is your life and you're crying about getting on a bloody plane. Like, get a reality check. And I think you can sometimes see celebrities being like, oh my God, like it was so bad. And it's like, doesn't look that bad from where I'm sitting. I've got to be honest.
It is, it's true. But you do. I was talking with someone earlier around like messaging what I do, and the core of it is you feel that with somebody as well now. Like it's not fate. And that's why I talk a lot around values, beliefs. And like you're saying there, value is, I know, well, one, you love Disney, but also like the belief of your family in life and important things. But you genuinely love work, and I do. And I sometimes feel there's some people, I was thinking myself, it's like in my life, there's very few people that probably like I could be deemed obsessed, but it's like, yeah, but I love it. Like you've got the issue, not me. Like
Right.
it is just a pure passion. I would do it day in, day out. How has that helped you? Where have you seen the challenges around that as well? And where does that motivation drive come from? It's more than motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, and I totally agree. It I mean, I don't want to go off on one here and get on my high horse, but it does irritate me. If we go back to the parent thing of me being a better business owner than I am a parent, right? I was a business owner before I was a parent, and that's not common for a lot of, well, I say it's not common. There are some people who create a business, especially in my world, who create a business because they've had a child and they need to do something that fits in, which is a whole different story about workplaces not being accessible for working mums. Anyway, people say to me all the time, oh, you'll regret this time with your kid, or, you should be working part-time when I just had him, things like that. Whereas I think, and I did a post about this on Facebook saying, you've got to work really hard. If you want to be successful, you've got to work really hard. I work incredibly hard. My success is aligned to my hard work and my consistent efforts. And I think it's the same for anybody. You want to be more successful, work harder, be more consistent. It is as simple as that. But people don't necessarily want to hear that. And then people were posting on, I said to my husband, the mum brigade's out. And they were saying things like, you'll wake up one day and realize you've missed his life. I mean, first of all, that's a bit harsh. And
Yeah.
second of all, like, you don't really know. I do spend a lot of time. He is absolutely my number one priority. The whole reason I did this business was so that I could travel the world with him. But then I think about the opposite. Imagine if I was going on to, Instagram and there's someone like, oh, I'm playing Snap with my child. And I was like, can you go and get a job? Otherwise, you might regret not earning the money. You would never do it. So I sometimes feel like people are so open to like have a go at your success.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's because they would like, it's jealousy, isn't it? They would like it for themselves, but they can't see a way to have both. And I think you can have both.
Yeah, I think you can. I do think there's a bit in even delayed gratification. When I look back at my dad, he worked very, very hard, very long hours for years. And there was parts of our like childhood where I was like, I really that grated on me a lot and it caused a lot of trouble for us. But our relationship now is very, very strong because the life he wanted us to have and create for us because of that hard work at that time as well. For the longer term, like we say, like having a vision and everything, as you mentioned at the start, some like that is what comes with it. And I think we're caught up in a world where we can have so much right now and we can go and get credit on all of this, parts of actually putting in the work and doing it. And I think that's a biggest shift people when I see people say, it's hard work. I'm like, define hard work
Yeah.
because I don't think I see a lot of people sometimes putting in the work it requires to get results. And like you say, I'm a big player on like consistency over and over, sticking at it. It doesn't mean it because it's not coming through straight away that it's not working. There's a lot more behind it. And it's the same when it comes to things like perseverance and the behavior changes you need to have as a business owner. I think that's key to what I've learned. Because when I started a business, I knew I'd done business for so long in corporate, but I was like, I don't get how to run my own business. Very different. I can lead people, I can do all that jazz, but that's easier for someone else where they say just do X, Y, Z. So then I knew that I needed sales. So I guess you could say it was a lucky thing that I knew that. And then I worked with a few people, but I think behaviorally with you, I've been able to see the shift. Like I said, it takes a great coach, I always say, to be that person in the back of your head months, years down the road, and I still have Charlie Day in my head, like follow up, do this, do that, and that's the sign of me of somebody that is great at what they do because that's the impact of great sales, great business as well. Is and the same with coaching.
I think when you're working hard at something you absolutely love doing, it doesn't always feel like hard work. It
No.
feels fun. And, I always say to people, you should create a sales strategy that feels great for you and your business, because when it feels great, you'll want to do it more. And when you do it more, you'll get more results. I think if you're doing something that doesn't light you up, that doesn't make you want to jump out of bed every morning, and you're a business owner, then you probably need to rethink it.
How would you say someone needs to work on finding their purpose if they're stuck?
I think just go right back to the beginning of like, why did you want to start a business in the first place? Like, what was it for you that made you want to start? One of the reasons I think I'm so successful is because I'm so stubborn. So I got to win. Yeah, got to be the winner. And I remember my dad when I opened a theatre school when I was 21. He was like, I didn't know a single entrepreneur, Natalie. So I don't know why I had to say, oh, this will be easy. Sure, why not? Give it a go. Not easy. My dad would say, you'll have to do all your accounts. You don't have a clue about finance. What about marketing? What are you going to do for marketing? You've not got a clue how to do marketing. You've got no experience whatsoever. You're just going to start a business. He denies having this conversation, but I've got witnesses, right? And I was like, well, how hard can it be? I'll figure it out along the way. And I did figure it out, but literally it took me 18 months to break a profit on that theatre school. But I was so determined. There was no way that I was going to give up and prove him right. Worst case scenario. So I'm like, I will make this happen if it kills me. And obviously, I was 21 and I was young and I had loads of energy. But if I think some people have got a really cushy life, if my dad was just like, oh, you don't need to do it, I'll pay for you. But like the other option was to, I don't know, I was like a nanny for a bit. I was a waitress for a bit. I mean, singing and dancing with kids in a village hall where I got to take all of the money home with me was a much better proposition than having to go and be a waitress or a nanny. That's hard work. That's properly hard work.
Yeah, no, I agree. One of the things, obviously, you'll see that I've been doing is looking at more around the messaging. How important is that when it comes to sales? I know I've done it, but it's interesting to see from a different perspective the impact that has.
It's so important, and people don't realize how important it is. And one thing I think is, when you go to those like cringy networking events where you have to stand up and be like, "Hi, I'm Charlie Day and I do sales." I always listen to everybody, and then I think, who could I confidently get back up and reintroduce? Because that person has absolutely nailed their messaging. Because simplicity is actually everything with messaging if you're going to make sales. Because if you can tell a group of people what you do, so much so that they all understand and think, oh, okay, that sounds great. And then they have the ability to go off and tell their friends and their co-workers and whatever, then your message is going to grow and spread. You get these people who stand up and they're like, I'm a Reiki healer with a mindset undertone of, and I also paint nails. You're like, love, what the hell do you do? I don't know what you do. Like, you just stood there and spoken, but I don't actually know what you're doing. I think without messaging, you can't possibly have sales if you can't tell somebody in really simple terms what it is you do. You're not
Mm,
going to make sales.
mm. And one of the things I was thinking around earlier is the culture of sales in the UK. Like I was saying, like I learned, like I was that person when I started a business that says I hate sales, and it frustrated me that I did that because I was like, well, I need to get my head around it because I know I can, and that's when I was like, got to get really clear on it. Where, like, why do people get so icky, and how can we work as business owners as well? Whether you're in sales, well, we're all sales actually in business, but how can we work on changing a culture of not feeling like somebody's going to turn around and say, you're so salesy, you're this, you're that, you're pushy? Because I don't think it's that. I'm like, I see it as a disservice.
Hmm. I think we've got to be more relationship focused. People want the quick win. They want it to happen now. They don't think about the longer game. And I think it's instant gratification, dopamine hits, all of these things. We want it now, then we move on. We have it now, then we move on. Well, no, that's not being a good salesperson. A good salesperson is building the relationship. I knew you for a long time before you bought from me, but I wasn't like, oh, well, Natalie Potts isn't going to buy from me anymore, so I may as well just shook her off. Who knows? You might buy more from me in the future. I don't know. I'm not having this conversation right now in the hope that you buy from me. I'm having this conversation right now because I've built a relationship with you. You've spoken on my stages. We've been on holiday together. We've had cocktails together. We've built a relationship. And on the back of that, you've become a client of mine as well, which is amazing. But I certainly didn't go into this. I didn't say like, oh, I'll hook up with Natalie Potts for a couple of cocktails because she'll definitely buy from me. But I do believe that people do that. They're just entering into a conversation purely to sell to you. And I'm not having that in my life. Absolutely not. If I get a whiff of that, and it's not just in face-to-face scenarios, if anybody sends me a message, Natalie, that's clearly copy and pasted, they can get lost. Because if I don't have enough importance to have a personalized message from you, unless we're talking like a big massive company, Disney can copy and paste. They can do some automation on me, it's fine. But people who are like automating their follow-up, but they're hardly making any sales, I'm like, be personalized, be conversational, build a relationship. They might not buy now, but if they have a great experience with you, they might buy later, or it might lead to an opportunity or something you just don't know. But I think people are just so in it for themselves. And I can see it a mile off. I actually think if you look at the people who aren't in it for themselves, we're in such a small little pond over here. And it's a lovely pond to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. I often say, again, when we talk about the things like you said, like consistency and everything, the baseline for success becomes quite low.
Yeah.
If you want to do like have a business that's long term and everything focused, it is the things around consistency, behavior, patience, a love, like a real passion, love for what you do. And all of that is in term as well as messaging, like you just said, like I can feel in a room or in a relationship conversation with somebody how it is. And I don't like I'm out. And that's the difference is we have to build those more relationships. And this is what I say to clients sometimes it's not a yes today. It's just understand where people are, how you can help and give more. I'm very much aligned to businesses and communities right now where it's all around the give over the get and the pure helping people and taking it step by step and seeing how that evolves. I think it's just much more refreshing. And again, but like they are out there, those spaces. You have to just go and find them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the more that you project your values and the way you are out there, the more you'll find those people who are aligned to you and you'll bring those in. So yeah, just be your authentic self and then you'll find your other people out there.
What's been the biggest challenge of 2024 for business, and what do you predict going into 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think we've had a bit of a shift in the last couple of months on the online space. Things that have worked in the past aren't necessarily working anymore. I think, it used to be to get somebody's money, you had to sort of get their attention by, giving them loads of value and all of those things. And then it was like, well, actually, even to get anyone's email address, you have to be
Yeah.
giving loads of value and loads of stuff. And now it's like, if you expect anybody to be giving up any time towards you, you've got to really sell it to them. Like, what's in it for them? Why should they watch your masterclass? Why should they come to your challenge? Why should they jump on a discovery call with you? Their time is their most precious commodity. So they're
Mm.
not just going to give it up to you willy-nilly. You've got to work for their time. And so it's become harder. But again, when you're willing to put the hard work in, it's okay. You know that you're always going to win. I think we'll see a shift at the end of this year, beginning of next year, people coming out of the online space because it's been a bit cushy, it's been easy, and it's not so easy anymore. So I think we'll lose some people, which always excites me because there's more room for me to grow. And if it's not for you, if it's not lighting up your soul, I don't think you should be here. I think we'll see a bit of a change in marketing, like old style marketing coming back around, a lot more people doing things face to face, offline marketing, and all of those things are having a resurgence, which I think is fun. I enjoy all that stuff, so it's good for me.
Yeah. What's your, they say signature, but what's the stuff that lights you up as your offers, your main ones that you like to do? Is it group? Is it one-to-one?
Yeah, definitely my mastermind. So I've run the sales agency and then I've got Charlie Day Sales, which is all my self consultancy. And the mastermind has always sat in Charlie Day Sales. This year we're bringing it over to the agency. So it's going to be all of my consultancy, my sales strategy, one-to-one with me, with support from my agency as well. And the like results that some of my mastermind clients have got are just insane, like doubled their turnover year on year, some of them because they've been in for a couple of years. So I think with, lead generators and closers, helping them on their accounts, they're going to do even better. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then growing and scaling the sales agency to the next level. So we'll be 12 months old in April, and I'm hoping that we're going to break 1 million in the first year. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see where year two will take us.
Been mad. I was like, what do you I said to people? I was like, when you just watch Charlie's journey, it's mad. I love it.
Thank you. I mean, this year has been wild. I'm running the biggest team I've ever ran. I'm putting my cock on the block, so to speak, with, some really big businesses, and their sales are literally in our hands. And it's felt really, really scary. I've been vulnerable. I've made mistakes. It's been wild, but I've loved every single second of it. And this is, I this is what I want. I want to build a sales agency that's female ran, that is really successful, that gets great results, that doesn't sell with ick or sleaze or any of that. And I'm on the path to creating that, and that feels just so good.
Yeah. I think that was going to say like what makes you different, but that is the key, isn't it? And it is your drive behind that to take people with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I was just texting one of my sales girls. She's had like her best month ever last month. And do you know what, and she's actually on her first holiday with her kids at the moment, that she said to me, I've paid for this holiday because of the job that you have created for me. And that just feels so amazing. Like if I'm paying for other kids to go on holiday, it's like what I set out to do for my own family, now other people have been able to do for their family. And yeah, she's having like the biggest month she's ever had. It's just wild. I love it.
My final question for you, and this is one I think you asked when I came on your podcast a few years back. And it was around either someone who's inspired you or your favorite quote. Because I think I said Disney, and you were like,
Yes! Oh my God, I love
so
it.
what's been your who's been your inspiration, or what's been your most inspirational quote that comes to mind that kind of is that part of, like when you're having a tough day or it's a tough month, week, whatever, like what keeps you going?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because we've spoken about Grant Cardone before, and I obviously went over to Grant Cardone's conference. And when you were saying before, I'm almost obsessed, that sort of be obsessed or be average. And people have got mixed views on Grant Cardone, but I do love him for that sort of like motivational, like, you know, when I went to his conference, it's just like next level. The things
Yeah.
that they're talking about, the turnovers that are banded about, it's just like insane. So I love Grant Cardone for that, and I listen to Sell or Be Sold all the time. If you haven't listened to that book, really recommend it. I love Sarah Bleakley. That it is Sarah Bleakley, yeah, the founder of Spanx. Follow her and Jesse Itzler on
Great.
yeah, absolutely freaking love both of those. Just so down to earth and lovely. But my favorite quote ever is, if you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right by Henry Ford. And I just think that all the time. Like, just think that you are the best salesperson that you can possibly be. Just step into being the best salesperson that you can possibly be. And that is who you'll turn into. And I've lived by that.
I put that on. I think it was when I came and spoke in your Goals and Glitter event, and I had that as one of my slides as a quote because again I'd seen it of you and I knew of it, and I put it today actually even on a story at the gym, and I was like, you can, you can't, it's up to you. It's what you believe to be true, and just go for it. Charlie, where can people connect with you and find out more about all of the amazing work that you do? And that's coming from me. Like I've lived and breathed that. I've done your work. I've been around you. Like I said, like I didn't just say it, that you come into my head, you do. And like I saw you in a live last night on Facebook, and I'm like, this is again. And it's again, that's what I need constantly. It's really useful.
Thank you so much. So I'm Charlie Day Sales on Instagram, and on LinkedIn and TikTok. And then I've written a book called Sales is Easy If You Just Know How. And that is the name of my Facebook group, Sales is Easy If You Just Know How. And my podcast is Sales is Easy If You Just Know How. So either Charlie Day Sales or Sales is Easy If You Just Know How. You'll find me everywhere on the internet. Come and say hi. Drop me a message. I'd love to chat to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I really hope this podcast has taught you something that you never knew before. I want to expand what you think is possible and get you thinking differently in your life and business. So I would really love your feedback. If you're on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, all you need to do is leave a review and share what you like. And if you would like to know more about how I can help you with your messaging or business, making more money, send a message with the keyword podcast, and I'll send you a complimentary audit with me where I will have you looking at your business and you will walk away with 3 actions to be making more money in your business right now.